Hello, everybody. I am so excited about making our first layout for documenting December 2025. We're primarily going to be using our Magic of Christmas designer paper pack and our December days tags that we cut up. Our first layout is going to basically be week 1 because I do more of a December weekly rather than daily. But I plan to pick out 7 of these cards to be matte for my first layout. So days number 1 through 7. And that's very similar to how I made last year. Now these numbers are actually beautiful. And I used them last year. They were diamond shaped. But my plans are a little different this year. And so we're about to pick our papers and our cards for week number 1. Here are the supplies for our first layout. I've picked 7 of the tags that I'm going to use to be mattes on this 2-page layout. So these were the tags out of the 36 I chose. I've chosen this one sheet of pattern paper. It is my favorite of the bunch. And I've decided to use this Stardust white paper to be the background. Now this layout is going to be so fast. Don't blink. You're going to miss it. And we're going to begin with this beautiful paper. It is my favorite of the pack. And it has the beautiful evergreen colors and the holly and the red berries. I love it. So we are going to make the wavy border that was in my layout share from September. And there was a request to make this over again. And I'm thrilled to be able to actually make that today. Now we have our 3-inch by 12-inch strips. I'm going to use this technique that I use over and over and over again, and you never get the same results twice. That's what's so fun. It's super fast, super easy. You can even use this if you have some scraps and you want to make a quick, fast, beautiful layout with it. Now I'm going to cut these strips using the discontinued decorative trimmer. I'm going to pause a moment to talk about this decorative trimmer because it is no longer available, but there's exciting news from Creative Memories. But before this decorative trimmer came out, this was the original custom cutting system template that came out. It had its own mat. This came out together. If you have one of these, you can use it to do the same technique. Now, I pulled my old one out. I thought that this and this were the same, but they are not. Now, the swell side, the one with the gentle curve, does seem to line up pretty good. But you can definitely see the difference here with the wave side. And so it won't be long before I give this a try. So if you have this template, you can use it also. But there's more exciting news. Creative Memories has now provided to advisors and soon coming to customers, but advisors can get them right now, new curvy templates of this type design. Now, just as this template only works with this older mat, this is a 10.5 by 12.5 inch mat. It does not fit on the 13 by 13. mat. The new templates will fit on the 13 by 13 mat. And I cannot wait for mine to arrive. I will tell you, I'm just all over the place excited. But now back to finishing our layout. I did want to say though, you can use this template for this layout. And if you do, leave me a comment to let me know you used the old template to make your borders with. I now have our 3-inch strips here. And we're going to cut one of these each with the wavy blade or the swell blade. I'm going to make a pencil mark at about the 1.5 inch, and this is just a little mark. I'm making a little pencil mark right here. It's roughly halfway. It's just to be a little guide for me. I'm making these little pencil marks just as a little guide. They do not have to be precise. I made a pencil mark right here that's basically halfway. It's 1.5 inches. It's in the middle. It's a guide. It's not an exact measurement, so do not feel that you have to get it precise. It's just a guide so I don't end up too far on one end and have my border too skinny or too wide for my taste. And this is all a matter of taste. But because of the way we're designing this particular border, it will be helpful if we get it. So we have a tick mark here and a tick mark here. And now it's time for the fun. We're going to swing it and cut. So I'm going to cut the swell from this paper. And keep in mind that it's the same paper front and back. So it's not that big of a deal. So if you're using this trimmer, I'm going to try to put this on here. Now, I'm going to be honest with you about this trimmer. I think one of the reasons it wasn't more popular was because people tried to measure with it. This was a horrible device for measuring. I prefer a good old pencil mark. Okay. But if you are a measurer, I'm putting the edge of my paper over here on this little line that looks like it's at 1.5. So I'm putting my paper on this 1.5 inch line right here. And that's lining up to where my little tick mark is in the cutting groove. So I don't know if this shows up. So that's putting my little tick mark in the cutting groove, which is where I really care to try to get this starting line roughly in the center, roughly. Okay. Now I would like this, in this case, I'm trying to be fairly straight. So I'm going to be lining my paper up. And I want it straight and I want it centered. And so to center it, I'm putting one of these little blocks at this end and one of these little blocks at this end. And so my paper and the peak of this swell is going to be in the middle of my paper. Okay, I took way longer explaining this than it will take you to figure it out. But once again, I'm lining up that 1.5 inch tick mark to the cutting groove on here. And the most important thing for me anyway is to try to get my paper both straight and centered. And I'm going to hold the block down and I am ready to cut. And this just, ta-da! Okay, so this our first border. And so next up, we're going to use the wavy border, and we're going to do roughly the same thing. I want to line this up straight and relatively centered, and I want to put that tick mark roughly at the beginning of the groove. And when I do that, it's going to my left side, and I'll orient you. This side with the little fold out bar is the left. I'm lining it up to the line that's reading about 3.5. I'm centering it top and bottom, holding this down, and now I have these two pieces. I love this trimmer. I could use it much more often than I do, and we'll talk about that later. Okay, so I'm done with this trimmer. Remember, you can use another style trimmer. You could draw a curvy line and cut this out with your scissors. You could do the same thing with a pair of scissors. So don't feel you have to have a device. If you want me to do this with a pair of scissors as well, I can make this design over and over again. So I will do it as many times as you ask me to. Okay, so now we have these beautiful borders. I'm going to put this on white so they will stand out. Okay. So look at this. Look how pretty that is. All right. So now, what do we do that we have this lovely border? Well, here's the little secret. We take this one here on the top and we put it on the bottom there and butt it up against that. And then we take this one and we butt it up against that. And now we have two beautiful curvy borders. Isn't that pretty? Then I'm going to take this one right here and I'm going to put it over here on this page. Okay. And voila. I mean, I took way too long explaining this because in the time it takes you to cut 2 3-inch strips and then cut each of those strips in half with some type of a curve or a wave, you have a lovely border. The secret sauce is in this beautiful paper. Okay. But we're going to do one more thing. The Magic of Christmas cardstock sampler pack comes with 3 sheets of cranberry, 2 sheets of dark green, and 1 sheet of gold shimmer. And my original plan was to use the dark green, but I'm thinking I'm going to go with this gold shimmer. I love it. Okay, our next step is very quick, but fun. We're going to use our middle custom cutting circle. Now, I always like to pull out all of them to show you exactly which one I'm using. Instead of saying circle number 2 or the middle circle, you have the visual. And we're going to use the red blade, and we're going to do something I don't see people do very often. We're going to make a donut. So we're going to do my little washi tape hack, and we're going to make a donut. So I'm first going to put a little washi tape here, and the purpose of the washi tape is to prevent slipping of the custom cutting template on our paper in case we need to start over. And you know the story, I'm still using my old red blades because they still work. That's how good the Creative Memories custom cutting system is. So I'm using the red blade on the outside track. Red blade on the outside track. And I'm going to make a donut. So now I'm going to take the red blade So this washi tape is still holding this in place. So I use the washi tape to hold it in place. And now I'm cutting the inside circle. Put that aside. I bet it'll get used. And here's my beautiful donut in beautiful gold shimmer. And you probably can tell I have laryngitis. I'm just grateful I can actually talk right now at all. A few days ago, I was yelling at the top of my lungs and hardly nothing was coming out. And so we're now going to thread our beautiful gold circle into through this circle. Now see, um, it fits up just right about here because there's enough clearance that it's a just right fit. So next up, before we start to adhere all of this down, I want to do a little decorating. Now, I'm looking at my options for something over this seam between the evergreen paper and the red paper. And my choices were stickers from Magic of Christmas or Magic of Christmas laser cut borders. But what I decided is to use the new Ornaments Decorative Border Punch. So I thought about the color and I thought of white, I thought of green, and I actually tried out several of these laser borders. They're so beautiful, but because of the colors, the red washed out or the green washed out. So I'm going to make this and I'm going to use the platinum molten lava paper. Yes, yes, yes. I wish I had bought more of this. Going to use it, and I think there can't be a better choice. Let's see if I'm right or wrong. And I'll need two of these, one for each my left and right border. So before we cut our second one, let's take a quick look at what we think of this first one. I think it's perfect. Yes. So let's cut the second one. Okay, this is a dry fit of our layout. This is what it's going to look like. And in a few moments, I will adhere everything down and come back. I came back on to record actually putting on these borders because as I realized it's probably helpful for you to know how high up I am putting these. And so I'm using my 13 by 13 inch mat and I'm taking this first one and I'm putting the straight edge about 2 inches up from the bottom, which leaves just probably about a little more than an eighth of an inch gap at the very bottom. Now I want the shinier side of the molten lava up, and there it is. I think that is a lovely border. And now this side. Now this side is going to be a little trickier because we have to loop our ring, our donut, through. So the first thing to do is I am kind of positioning it where I think it'll go, and I'm going to note that the tip of the top border, in this case, comes down about 1 inch. So I have about an inch clearance. So what we do, I'm going to take the top border and put it on first. And I'm going to start it at about 1 inch down and gently lay it down on my left side. I'm not going to press it down. And then I'm going to put this up against it. So now I'm going to put adhesive on my donut. So I'm using my multi-purpose tool to kind of keep this in from sticking just yet to the page. I'm going to thread top border down and over. I'm going to sort of get it positioned where I want it, and then I'm going to put the donut down and then kind of jockey the bottom border because it may need to overlap the top border a little bit to fit, but there it is, and it's laying flat and makes a beautiful place for embellishments to go. Now, I don't mind the background colors seeping through on my beautiful ornaments border. If you do, you can cover the background with a paper of your choice. But I'm really happy. So this is our first week December document. Next up, let's get our mats down. I've chosen 7 of the tags from the December Days pack. And a lesson that I learned last year was that the tags did not work for me, but these mats I liked. And so you have to cut off these corners to make them tags. I'm going to dispense with that, and I'm going to cut them as mats. And that is how I'm going to put them on my page. So I'm going to cut all of these, and they turn out to be just 4 inches by 5 inches. So this is now a 4-inch by 5-inch mat. Well, here's my first week to document December. Now, because I don't have photos yet, I'm not going to adhere these down because I may play around with the orientation a little bit. But wow, I am really happy with how this turned out. I have this gorgeous border that was really fast and easy. And the December Days cards were just perfect. You know, they're very versatile. I could have left them as tags, but I turned them into mats. And by shrinking them down just a little bit, they're fitting beautifully on my page. And so I'm probably going to add the title December up here somewhere. So for me, this is week 1. I have something for 7 days. It could be less or more. That's why I do my December days like this. I just make the layouts and I reserve spots for at least 7 days. If I chose to put a picture here and a story there and a story and no picture here, I have that flexibility open to me. So I'm happy about this and I am ready to move into week 2. And while you're on the channel, YouTube is recommending a video for you. Please go give it a look.